the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Move to approve the agenda for December 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Need a motion to approve the meeting minutes of Monday, November 10th, 2025.
Motion to approve meeting minutes of Monday, November 10th, 2025.
Second?
Thank you both. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any public input tonight? Tom, you're on the list, so unless you have something else you would like to add.
No.
Guessing we don't have any sheriff's office updates since he's not here. Sam, do you have anything for us?
I do, Mayor. Dave wanted you all to make sure that I was still alive and a real person, so I'm going to give you a little update on what we've been up to. I'll start with the swimming pool issue. You may recall Mr. Tetrick, who was going to build our pool and then didn't, has both a civil judgment by default against him that the city has. We're one of several civil judgment holders against him to the order of several $100,000. The Union County State's Attorney's Office entered into a plea arrangement with him where he would, this is my understanding from talking with the Deputy State's Attorney, essentially agree to pay that judgment as a condition of the dismissal of the charges. I have not gotten a chance to speak with the deputy on how much time he was given, but as far as Dave and I know, we haven't received any money, and so I'll be formally asking the State's Attorney's Office to explain what options they have for us, or if they're gonna go back on the deal. I don't anticipate they will. As far as execution of that judgment, my understanding from communications with other attorneys who have clients similarly situated is that a lot of his assets have gone, and that he doesn't have a whole lot of solvency, so going to be difficult to pursue, but if we can get anything out of him, we're willing to pursue that. On the, look at my list here, I made it on my phone. The mobile home issue, I still have not been able to find Ms. Ewald. We've just missed her a couple times at either the court or jail when I've been down there, or when I've had somebody down there going to court. Without getting super detailed on it, there's an added wrinkle or layer of bureaucracy in the law when you are taking a mobile home, because it is in part real property, the same as a house attached to the ground is. In another sense, it's an automobile. And then you've got specific statute you have to comply with. As Dave knows, reached out to the park owner several times, and after authorization from this council, even told him, hey, listen, please cooperate with us. The city will pick up the bill and do all the paperwork at the city's expense to get this eyesore out of here. He's not responded to me on that. So in my spare time, I've researched a couple options. I think one of the only ones we have without his cooperation, not only ones we have, but the nuclear option, and I don't say this as a threat, but there might be a way that he can be told to cease operating the park for all his tenants until he cleans it up. But we certainly don't want to do that for all the good people that are there that are not causing a problem. But we get into real dodgy territory real quick if we just go in there and remove that thing. If it were a car, it'd be gone already, but it's not. And so the other option that I would prefer to go with, and we can get started on it this month, is file a legal action to have it removed. Just go straight to court, and if we can't find Ms. Ewald because she's either gone or she's incarcerated, we can get her served if she's in the penitentiary or the county jail. But if she's in the wind, eventually Judge Byrne will likely let us serve by publication, so we would put notice in the paper, make every effort to make her aware, send stuff to her family, and then, kind of same with Mr. Tetrick, we would get a default judgment against her if she failed to answer within 30 days, and then we can proceed and remove the trailer. So, I think that, I don't know that a motion would necessarily be required for that, but I can, before next meeting, if we do want to have the council vote on taking that action, can certainly prepare to do that and be prepared to get it done. And then, Mr. Parrish, we are legally uncertain as to whether or not we can move to evict him if he doesn't have water, or codes seem to suggest that we can. And so, again, another decision for the council, if we want to, because he doesn't have running water, he hasn't had it for some time, correct, Dave?
Since March.
So if we do want to bring a legal action to get the court to say either yes or no, you are in violation of the building codes and ordinances, and you either have to turn your water on or leave, I'm certainly willing to do that. He's been given several notices by my office that he needs to do it. I believe that there's a good enough argument to go to court on it. That it's not habitable if you don't have running water and you're not using running water, but the court may tell us we're wrong. And so it's just another decision for you folks to make. The last one that we actually have gotten some movement on is the Saldana aviary with chickens, ducks, geese, and I think, does he have guinea pigs too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, we'll see what we find when we get down the road there. 2 notices were given to him this fall, and then actions were filed under a couple of different legal theories. 1, he doesn't have a permit when he's supposed to. 2, he's exceeding the amount of birds that are allowed under the ordinance, even if he did have a permit. 3, the excess stuff constitutes a nuisance and possibly a health and safety violation, and then the other one is that it's a state nuisance violation. So we've provided him written notice of that twice. We've served him with the lawsuit. Dave got a call, I think, right before Thanksgiving, day or 2.
He stopped in here,
Okay.
and I told him he had to call you.
And he'd indicated, as I understood from Dave, and then when he called our office, he's received service of the lawsuit. So that would start his 30-day period to file a response. If he doesn't file a response, we would get a default judgment. A response may be something just handwritten, or, he's a lay person, so we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, even if it doesn't necessarily check all the legal boxes, and then we'll have a hearing. But I have not received from the sheriff's deputy the affidavit of service that actually says it's been served. So he wouldn't have stopped in unless he got it, but the sheriff's office is probably a day or 2 behind processing, and I think he called our office on the 26th. So I would anticipate that this week. If not, we'll get it out for reservice. And if the sheriff's office can't get it done, we might have to have a process server from Sioux Falls come and find him. I'm sure most of you all may know this, but if you don't, his argument is that he was grandfathered in because he supposedly had these birds beforehand. There's some arguments like that, but I don't think he was, and in any event, he's had more than enough time to butcher. I think at one point there was over 50 birds, maybe 60. So he's had enough time to call his flock down and hasn't done so. So I think we could have seized these birds without, going to court, but in talking with the sheriff's office and the state's attorney, they felt more comfortable due to the property interest at stake, which I understand. I can see their perspective. So going to court will give the city the added cover of a judge's order if and when we have to take the birds. And Sheriff Prouty had been in contact with some third parties to kind of figure out how best to do that when the time comes. So I'd anticipate January would be when we get rid of those. David, did I miss anything that I was supposed to
I
talk
don't
about?
think so.
Okay. That's all I have for you folks. Any specific questions for me?
I guess I have a question. There's a particular home in my neighborhood that never gets anything done with it. It's an eyesore. a lot of vehicles sitting in the backyard. I know I'm sure the code enforcer's been trying to get him to do something, but if they eventually can't, then what do we do? What's the next step?
So, my kind of mode of operating as it relates to ordinance and code violations and nuisances and making people clean up stuff is sort of as follows. Notice an order from the code enforcement officer or from, could be from me, my office. If it's something like your grass was too long, you know, we give them a notice and order. Okay, gotcha. Oh, good, you got a tractor. So we've already sent a couple notices according to Dave, which is good, but if it's junk, you know, pails, old wood, and or stuff like grass, you can send the city to remove that stuff if there's rodent arborage or if the grass is too high, and then you assess the cost back to the property. The due process is sufficient once you've sent notices in that instance. If it's an automobile, I want to know what kind of car it is, how old it is, how long it's been titled, if it's been running. The older and more beat up it is, the less concerned I am. But if it's a 2018 Cadillac, we're probably going to go to court to get a court order just to be safe. When we start to get into real property, which is fixtures, buildings, you know, your house, your shed, those types of things, then I want to go to the court and get a court order, even if it takes longer, just because then I've got a circuit court that said, has found, after seeing evidence, they've legally concluded this is derelict property, it's fallen down, it's unsafe, whatever the court finds. And then when we knock it down, we've got a judge ordering that it be knocked down, so we're much more insulated.
Well, for instance, this particular property has a large boat in the backyard that'll never see water again. I've seen cats going in and out of it, jumping in and out of it. I see some weeds growing up in the middle of it. The guy has no clue about what it would cost to get that thing back in the water. It's just an eyesore, and other junk back there. It just needs. I mean, if it was up next to Tom, he'd be down here at every meeting saying, "Get after it."
I can give you just a little bit of background, which it's actually on the agenda to cover a little bit later.
No, okay.
So we just finished up our second year with having the property maintenance code enforcement officer. The first year, because I had just started and this particular individual had been working with the council, I kind of told the property enforcement that first year, said he's been given some time by council. It's been something that the council and him had worked on. This summer, I said, okay, now follow the letter of the law. Because of my surgery and he had a family emergency, we kind of missed each other here at the end of the summer. So there were a few notices that I'm going to kind of go through when we talk about these that we'll have to pick back up in the spring.
I know at one time I was planning on putting a patio out back, but I thought, why do I want to put a patio out there?
Yeah.
Improve my place if I'm going to sit there and just look at that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Okay, I'm done.
Anybody else have any questions or anything? Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it.
You want me to stick around for executive session, or are you good?
Yeah, if you could stick around for this first one, that'd be good. We'll move on to number 7. And we will need this one. I know it says if needed, so we just need a motion to enter into executive session.
Make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2.
Second.
Mayor, I just have you know, sorry to interrupt, but just because they're want people to be a little more firm on these things. We want a 1-25-2 sub 1 employee personnel.
Okay.
They're just wanting us to be a little more firm on that. I think you'll see a bill on that this year.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are in executive session at 6:15 p.m. Dave, you can stay in here for this one. We're out of executive session at 6:34 p.m. Don't sit down, Tom, you're up next.
May I sit though?
You're up to the podium.
Come on up. You can sit, I don't care.
It's nice to be
Go
on the
ahead.
team now.
Right.
Is he gonna be okay to be heard, or do you want him to sit closer? Okay.
Drive safe.
Nothing, Tom. That's nothing.
All right, we're moving on to number 8 on the agenda, park update from Tom Van Royen.
Yeah, just with some lighter news and stuff, when I approached you folks on the October 6th council meeting and then asked about, because of the respect of the donor, about funds, I met with Dave and, you know, from the storm and everything that has happened, funds were pretty tight on everything there, so we're ready to close out the park cleanup. And I just wanted to mention a couple things though, because it's always worth the people that have really helped out. You know, because keeping the momentum going towards, you know, the revitalization of the whole park and the projects is, you know, Delane Fickbaum, who took over the veterans, because when we started with everything, we took an inventory, and these people then came aboard and really helped chunk down, you know, everything there. And John Way from Lions Club, and what they did with the horseshoe. Everybody notices we took the fence away from the horseshoe area. That was really a sore sight there. And then Jerry Joykin of Alcester Community Foundation, they came in and took over that estimate there of the memorial that they have there. And then we had some other volunteers, and then the donor that is helping out, and myself and Diane will throw in some there, and the bill will be paid. But then I wanted to ask you folks going forward, I talked a little bit with Dave about it, is maintenance. Do we have a maintenance fund for the park? Because I know we have somebody that mows, but I would really like to have, you know, Lisa, you and your team here, think about budgeting $2,500 or $5,000 a year for maintenance with the park now that it's clean, radiant, looks good. For the simple reason, you know, we sprayed some weed stuff, but, you know, come spring, it should really be fertilized, otherwise we're not gonna have anything but weeds back again. And that's just something where, you know, when the park team meets again, you know, about the process of the other revitalization projects, we can talk about that, but yet, I don't know if there is a budget item on that. And that's just something I was wondering if you guys would consider that. And other than that, you know, because Dave and Lonnie both don't need more to do. It's just something where I would be glad to be a part of a park team that was active with volunteers helping, which they all responded and people I have talked with. So it's just a matter of taking a little bit of pride now that we've got it looking good, because man, you come down the road now with the clubhouse and the park and the schools, it is a beautiful sight, beautiful sight. And other than that, that's about it, because I know with Dave, with the surgery and everything, I was wondering when the next park team meeting will be, and then just go from there. So that's really all the updates I got.
Sounds good, thank you. As far as the maintenance fund for the park, I know we haven't had that budgeted in the past.
No.
Dave, what?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but there is. There is money set aside for chemicals for the park as far as,
Oh, good.
as far as weed stuff. I know how Lonnie sees to
Yep.
best invest that. I kind of leave up to him as the expert.
Yeah, and working with Lonnie too, and that was great. That was good.
As far as, for just general supplies for the park itself for 2026, it's earmarked for $2,000. And then chemicals alone is another 4,000. So about 6,000 between chemicals and different supplies.
Great.
Well, that solves that.
Yeah, that really does.
So we just need to make sure that,
With Lonnie too, and I know
Come
there
spring,
were
we
some other
plan for
minor
that.
things like floors that don't lock and
Leave that all up to
different
Lonnie
things.
on how he
But
orders
now that everybody is
what
aware of what's,
because he feels
because, yeah, there wasn't
You know
much
what?
maintenance except mowing for the,
best chemicals to put down
quite a
in.
number of years.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah,
But
I would
those-
say when the spring rolls around,
You
just to
bet.
touch base with Lonnie again.
Oh, yeah.
Because he'll be the deciding factor on what that product is that gets used. Is that a good way to put that?
yeah.
Yeah, and we do appreciate all of the hard work that you and the rest of the volunteers have put into it. It does look very nice.
It's a good thing. No, I'll keep in touch with Dave and Lonnie both because,
And I'm hoping for another park meeting sometime after the first of the year.
Yeah.
okay,
I still haven't heard a yes or no on the Land Water Conservation Fund grant, and that was for the playground equipment. I'm assuming at this point it was a no since we haven't heard, but I haven't heard that officially from the state level yet either, so. If not, we'll try
anything for
again
me,
next
any
year.
questions you have for me?
I don't have anything, do any of you?
I just think it looks great.
Thanks, Tom.
Definitely does, thank you so
You bet.
much.
That's all I got. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. All right, we will go on to number 9 on the agenda, Banner Monthly Engineering Report. We don't have a banner person here tonight.
No, they were not able to make it down.
If you just look at your packet, the monthly engineering report, the first thing is item A, approve paying Banner invoice number 46795 in the amount of $3,238.70 for work completed on the sanitary sewer improvements project through November 22nd, 2025. There's not really anything in here that's like, whoa.
The only thing I want that I will talk with you real quick is item D, but we can wait until after we get through the rest of it.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve paying Banner invoice number 46795 in the amount of $3,238.70 for work completed on the sanitary sewer improvements project from November 22nd, 2025.
Thanks, Brian.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item is invoice number 46792 in the amount of $5,000. This was for the water tower recoat project through November 22nd, 2025.
Motion to approve paying Banner invoice number 46792 in the amount of $5,000 for work completed on the water tower recoat project through November 22nd, 2025.
I'll second it.
Thank you both. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C is invoice number 46791 in the amount of $20,080 for work completed on the 4th Street Water Main Project.
Move to approve paying Banner invoice 46791 in the amount of $20,080 for work completed on the 4th Street Main Water Main Project through November 22nd, 2025.
Second?
Thank you both. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, what do you got for D?
So Paul had asked me to, if you look at the last group, the maps,
Maps.
starting on, I guess, in the lower right corner, G14, there's 2 sections of street. They've identified some landscaping and some trees for the water main project that are gonna require being removed.
One of
Starting
them's
at the
mine.
top, the 2 in the red X, at the corner of 4th and Ofsted. There's some landscaping along right at both corners. That's
Yeah,
gonna
and-
need to be removed.
The stuff on the south corner, has been maintained, but is not very large.
Yeah.
So that would be fine. And the tree we were going to take out on our corner anyway.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
Blocking
yeah,
the street
it's,
light.
yeah, it's a large tree and it's
Yeah.
only 2 feet off the road.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't, I already
Yeah.
had to shave off
Yeah, they
half
had
the
some
tree
in
this
there
year because it's blocking
2
the
weeks ago.
intersection.
Replaced it.
So yeah, and then there is a street light on that north corner though.
Yeah.
Another one of those,
We
the
find
wind
it
could have
complain
taken
about
this
it.
kind of situation.
Yeah, and then the other thing, landscaping to be removed, the mailboxes are on the south corner. Would those need to be moved during this, those are probably gonna be moved during this project anyway? Okay. So that's, yeah, those will be moved anyway, but yeah, as far as that goes, that's.
So basically on all of these sheets, if there's anything marked in red, it denotes a tree or landscaping that's gonna be needing to move, except for that one on the bottom left corner of the first page. That tree they might be able to salvage it. Any of the black stars that are like permanent marker down there, that's just to indicate where trees are at within the project scope, not the ones that need to be removed. The question from the engineer, I think Brian, you and Nick were on the email.
Yeah.
Paul asked if the council wanted to offer to replace those trees, and asked that they be moved. Because right now, currently, the trees that need to be removed are all in the right of way, so we don't have to ask. We can just remove them because they're in the right of way. And that if the council would so choose to replace the trees, ask that they be replaced inside the property line. So they're not within where that water line's gonna be at.
You can move that Christmas tree.
And then I told Paul that I would handle notifying the owners of the properties that these are entailed. I didn't figure that we needed him to draft a letter and charge us. So I will reach out to the owners here this month and just let them know, hey, and I'll send them a copy of this and highlight, hey, this tree on your property is gonna have to come out due to the water main project.
Cross us, right? Roger, I let him know, so you know, send him.
Larry,
Or
not
Larry.
Roger, it's Larry.
Oh, it is Larry, yeah.
So I told him I would,
Roger.
I'll
You can let
draft,
Roger know.
If he cares.
I'll draft up just a brief explanation for them. I don't know that just looking at the budget, I mean, you're talking, depending on cost of tree, I don't know what it costs to replace a tree, but, I mean, there's not a whole lot of extra room in the budget, so I mean, it's up to you guys if we would want to look down the road at a supplemental for the cost to replace the trees. I don't know that it's necessary. The other option is there was a grant that came up this year, for some trees that Lonnie and I had spoken about. Basically, if you got awarded $500 in grants to purchase trees, you had to match it with either matching funds or labor to plant the trees. So there was ways where it didn't cost you a lot of money. So if you could get a group of volunteers to spend 10 hours planting these trees, that would total a cost of $500, that would be your local match. So, I mean, that would be an option if that grant were to come around again. I don't know for sure that this would 100% qualify. I didn't look into that. But something to discuss further if you guys want to kind of think about it. We could bring it up at a later date if you want to, look at replacing these 6 or 8 or I think it was 4 trees.
And mine, ours, we won't need to be replacing.
What kind they are, I do not know.
Because if they're ash, they would probably have to go anyway.
Right. So,
Ours, I think, is a Norway spruce,
Yeah, Larry's is,
and Larry's is some kind of ornamental.
yeah,
It's not
nothing crazy there.
yeah, it isn't, it could be fancy, I guess. I'm not a tree connoisseur.
and then once we hear back from the landowners too, if it's, if they want to come and visit about it and talk to the council and ask, that's something we can put on the agenda as well, but just wanted to show that to you. But I told Paul that I would handle reaching out to those landowners and
Yeah, we don't need that.
so.
Did they give us a timeline at all?
I'll need to reach out to them here soon, because we're gonna be opening bids next month, and construction, I would guess, would start first thing in the spring. I don't know how it's gonna be piecemealed out, but I'm gonna try and draft those letters and get those out before the middle of this month.
Sounds good. All right. Any other questions on that? All right, number 10, Deputy Finance Officer, item A, just tying up some loose ends. Need to approve removing Chris Hedden as signer on all city accounts at Premier Bank.
Motion to approve removing Chris Hedden as signer on all accounts at Premier Bank.
Second?
Thank you both. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, item B.
Motion to move into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2
-1.
-1 Deputy Finance Officer.
Second.
Thank you. Any further
Sorry.
discussion? All in
Brain
favor?
farted there for a second.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're in executive session at 6:51 PM. We're out of executive session at 6:56 PM. And we do have a motion to make regarding that.
Alright. I will make a motion to approve hiring Christie Burke as Deputy Finance Officer at $17.47 per hour, effective immediately.
Second?
Thank you both. Any further discussion? Since this is a hiring situation, we are going to do a roll call vote on this one. Kendra Hatley is absent tonight. Carrie Hedden,
Aye.
Brian Johnson,
Aye.
Marby Swanson,
Aye.
Kirsten Cheetah,
Aye.
Nick Weisler.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Welcome to the team. I can't see you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
And then we'll move on to item D.
Motion to approve adding Christie Burke as signer on all city accounts at Premier Bank.
Second?
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to number 11. Finance Officer. The November warrants is up first. Just need a motion to approve those.
I will make a motion to approve November warrants.
Second?
Thank you both. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dave, what do you have for us for the year-to-date financial report?
And that was actually supposed to be taken off of the agenda, and that's my fault.
Well, what do you want to tell us?
I will tell you, if you look at the clubhouse from a profit loss perspective, it looks like it was extremely rough year. But I will give all of the staff up there kudos. They outpaced the revenue projections that we had set up. So I think that's a win, and I think we need to take the wins that we can because we've had so many issues with the building. We have another issue with the building, another piece of equipment that's giving us issues that we have to have repaired. That was a large portion of our losses this year was equipment issues, HVAC issues, ongoing continued building problems that we've had. Golf course, another record year, memberships higher than ever before. Golf cart revenues, the going to 14 leased carts was an amazing idea. For what we pay for the lease to what we were able to bring in revenue this year, it was 4 to 5 times the revenue for what it cost us, because we only pay for them for 6 months, and we brought in way more than what the cost was. Sponsorships were way up. The golf course overall made money, even though because of some equipment issues again, overall increased the cost to maintain these pieces of equipment continues to go up and up, and it's hard to guess what it's going to cost next year to sharpen reels or replace, X, Y, or Z. The golf course itself still made money.
While you're on that, just a little tidbit. The golf course has its own Facebook page now, so if you're not following that, go ahead and follow it. That counts for everyone.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook.
Get all
Overall,
the people to come down next year so that we can have like
Yeah.
big, huge, like golf tournaments and stuff with the new course.
Lonnie and I will be meeting with the SDGA, the South Dakota Golf Association, tomorrow to, they gotta rescore the course now with the new added hole, which Lonnie was able to keep pretty close to in budget. Went a little bit over, but there was some added costs with some of the install. I think it was the irrigation and stuff cost more than what we had estimated. But overall, course made money. Park, we're gonna meet again with the volunteers for the revitalization committee sometime after the first of the year to kind of kick that back into gear. If we don't get the grant for the new playground equipment, we're looking at needing to raise about $150,000 for new playground equipment to replace everything that's needing to be replaced. And then hopefully by then we'll have some input on the phase 1 stuff from the engineers. So
I have to have a lot of dance parties.
We can do it. Dance parties every day.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that update. Item C, we will approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-13, 2025 supplemental appropriations. Also part of your packet here. Dave, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Tying up loose ends for the year with just different expenses. Nothing overly concerning. Just overall, everything's beginning to cost more and more. Yeah.
I mean, there's no real big surprises on it at all.
Oh, motion to approve first reading of ordinance 2025-13, 2025 supplemental appropriations.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
1 second. We will have to do a special meeting before the end of the year for the second reading.
It has to be effective December 31st, right? Yeah.
And it could be, if we can't get a solid date where everybody can be here, people need to be on the telephone or something like that.
Okay.
Just needs to be posted by, just like any other meeting would need to be.
All right, motion is on the table to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-13, the 2025 supplemental appropriations. Motion made by Kirsten, seconded by Nick. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 12, 2026 election.
I can update people on that. For those that followed the state law changes earlier this year, the state has changed where municipal and school elections are required to be held either the same day as the June primary or the same day as the November general election, where in the past it's always been the city and school would have theirs in April, and then in June they'd have the primary and that and the other. So just like in years past, the council has to choose one of those two dates because legally openings have to be posted a minimum of 90 days prior to when petitions can be taken out. So the vacancies that are coming up for election in this coming 2026 election cycle have to be posted before the end of this month. therefore why we have to set the date. I did reach out to the school. They will be holding theirs in conjunction with the counties during the primary in June. Just tidbit.
I think we could do ours in June then.
I don't know what exactly, until I go through the new election training, how that will affect the end date for because everybody's terms will, the end date will kind of shift just a little bit.
Just let us know.
You will.
Yeah.
You will.
That
Right now.
doesn't sound like the worst headache we've ever had.
Kirsten, Nick, Marvy, you were all appointed until the next election, so your positions will be up for election next year. Do you want me to let them know now?
Yeah.
It'll be on the agenda for approval next meeting, but Kerry's turned in his resignation effective the end of this meeting, so his Ward 2 position will be vacant on the next ballot as well.
And I'll put on there Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, so.
He's retiring?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, right now, we got only 2 drivers on my other part-time job, and I'm ragged, I'm tired. I've already got a hold of them out there and said, you better get more people hired, because this boy's
Because you're driving me crazy.
Yikes.
So those four seats will be on the next ballot, so.
So Nick has to run again this year?
All 3 of you were appointed, and the appointment is till the next election cycle.
Okay.
So it would be to finish this current year. So
Gotcha.
then, if all 3 of you were to turn a petition in and run unopposed, and then you would be in a full 3 or 4 year.
Exactly what
Term.
happened when I did this.
Yeah.
So like I finished out a term
Submitted her petition.
and then I did a petition.
She ran unopposed, so then she was appointed for the term.
I thought Nick did his petition last year.
No, he was appointed. Brian did, and Kendra did. But you,
No, because we
thought
knocked
he
door
did.
to, we went door to door.
Yeah.
you did turn your, okay,
Yeah.
so it's just Marvy and Kirsten, sorry.
And then.
I wrote it down wrong, my apologies. So it'll be Kirsten, Carrie, Marvy, those 3 positions. So,
You locked me in for 4 years.
But if I could add something else, I think the town's in good hands. I like all the councilmen that I work with. And I have no problem with anybody, just.
You'll miss
I think
spending
it's
3
gonna be
hours.
in good hands.
You'll miss spending 3 hours with us on the first Monday of the month.
Yeah, what do you do with yourself?
Well, when I know that it's coming around, I'll say, yay, I'm not up there tonight.
You just gonna sit in the chair and watch instead, right?
Yes.
Just go sit there and just go like this.
No,
So-
it's been an experience, and, more people ought to get involved, so.
so you would just need to choose June or November.
What, I don't know if there's really a
I was-
good or bad or the other.
The
I
the
guess.
benefit to going in June is the counties hosting the primary, the school's doing it. It'll be a less cost on us on hiring election workers. As far as all of the other publications and all that stuff, that doesn't change. That won't really change anything. It's just we'll have that number of we can all split the cost of the election workers.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So.
I suggest that we.
So in that
go
case,
for
I would say
June.
June, yeah.
I think June, just keep it.
Voters also.
I think,
Everybody's young.
yeah, I think just keeping it with county school. I think that will help.
Yeah, you try to have more
More
people
people in
vote.
the know for voting,
If there's-
yeah.
Yeah, you do it in June.
So we just need a motion then,
Motion to approve June
second.
2nd as city election date for 2026.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Brian, second. Brian?
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
On to hiring.
Okay, and number 13,
Motion to approve hiring Dustin Vick as part-time cook at $14.19 per hour effective immediately.
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 14,
Motion to approve hiring Don Drown as part-time janitor at $12.36 per hour, effective immediately.
Second.
thank you. Any further discussion?
Where's he gonna be janitor for?
He'll be the
Is this
city,
building?
yeah, so the city janitor will cover the city office building, and then in the summertime, taking care of the park shelters and the park bathrooms.
Love that.
That's the same as the other guy did that was here, the
Correct.
older gentleman.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
Chris.
yeah, you too. Did some of that, yeah. Yeah.
All right, motion on the table to approve hiring Don Drown as part-time janitor at $12.36 per hour, effective immediately, made by Kirsten and seconded by Brian. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dave has some information for us about the clubhouse insurance claim update.
All right, so the insurance claims associates, who's our underwriter, the adjuster for the insurance for the Public Insurance Alliance, came back, and the amount of total damages minus the $1,000 deductible came out to $43,000.09. That's including the railing. There was 3 or 4 railing spindles that were damaged, the patio furniture that was destroyed, the 4 patio heaters, and the cart shed siding. On top of that, once all of the repairs / replacements are made, we submit receipts. They will then reimburse us for the depreciation amount of $3,835.32. So once all that is done, we would then I have the math done somewhere here. Bring the total to $46,835.41. The one thing that was already repaired was one of the windows on the northwest garage door for the cart shed. It blew out one of the windows because of weather and wanting to make sure that nothing inside the cart shed got damaged. I had that plate repaired already at a cost of $426.53. So the things that are still needing to be looked at are the siding on the cart shed, the patio furniture, the patio heaters, the railings. Because it's a safety issue, I had the contractor go ahead and order those. They'll be able to get those, hopefully, if we get a little bit of decent weather yet this month, be able to get those railing spindles. They were able to get just spindle replacements, so they're not gonna have to replace chunks. And those numbers are in your packet. So the first one after the 2 pages of insurance is the invoice for the repair of the window. The next couple pages is the patio heater, just an option that was around the cost. And then right behind that, estimate number 944 was the $1,610.22 is the cost for the spindles. Because it was a safety issue, especially with coming weather, I did tell the contractor to go ahead and order those parts so we can get those replaced as quickly as possible. And then the last estimate, or next to that, right after that, there's actually 2 different estimates. It'd be estimate number 940. 2 separate estimates on different options of re-siding the cart shed. The first one would match the horizontal siding of the clubhouse for a cost of $35,801. The other one would match vertical to the main clubhouse building at $39,755. And then last is just the one option just to try and help with local businesses. We had reached out to Dakota Prairie Woodworks in Hudson because they sell kind of heavy duty, all weather, can sit outside all year round patio furniture. Their sales guy met with Carrie and Kelsey, and they kind of said, if that's what we go with, this is what we would want, and that was the total amount. with a discount of $10,393.60, which was a lot costlier than I had anticipated. Got an email back from Kendra on this tonight. Her suggestion was, let's take the winter, talk to the managers at the clubhouse on the patio heaters and the patio furniture, and come up with some more cost-effective options for, especially the patio heaters. The suggestion I printed off, it was just a suggestion that was simple and similar to what they had up there. They were on sale for $138 a piece. I think when they were purchased brand new, they were right around $200. So just something for you guys to keep in mind. Her suggestion was, let's take the winter, talk with staff up there, come up with some different options, and shift focus to the siding, and get that, at least get that stuff ordered and taken care of. But
I was thinking about that too, and like as far as the patio heaters go, we could try to get membership involvement with that too, you know, like vote on your favorite heater option, or if members wanna like toss in some money so that it doesn't have to come out of.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any way, I know when we had a big wind, some of those heaters got totally destroyed.
They all.
and that's, yeah, all four of them.
Is there any way to secure those, or, you know, do more of the heaters like?
It would just be
moving
moving
them.
them, it would be moving them when they're.
The stand-up type like they had, and like it's in the packet, it would be moving them indoors. I don't know that there's anywhere to, unless they would secure them and chain them to the railing. The storm that we had this summer, would it have taken them and flipped them around and ripped the entire section of railing off? It's hard to say. It's the best option in a case like that if we're gonna have high winds, which
They
especially
technically
up
could have went
there.
through the windows this summer,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, that's why I think taking this winter, because nobody's gonna be using the patios right now anyway, and trying to come up with the best option. Maybe the best option is the table height ones that sit lower to the ground and aren't as likely to get picked up. But I think that, and that's kind of why I just put these options on there for you to vote on, table, talk about, however you choose to do it.
Yeah.
For me as a golfer and talking with some of the other golfers, the one piece that I think that the council should really look at right now is replacing that siding. It's tongue and groove. It's not super secured. And with winter winds the way they are, it's likely to continue to get worse through the winter. And one, if there's an opening, they're likely to, there's the chance of raccoons or whatever other animal getting in there. Could it damage one of the carts or wiring the shed?
Is that vinyl siding that's on there now?
It's an aluminum, and it's actually the product, according to the engineer that the adjusters brought in, that specific product is actually meant for soffit. And it's not supposed to be installed in lengths over 8 feet. So there's a piece of this that is storm damage, and there's a piece of it that is contractor error that the insurance will deal with on the back end on their issue that they'll worry about. But right now, with prices the way they are, I reached out to several contractors that had the ability to do this, and this was the one response that I got. So you can table it all and try and get other quotes too. It's totally up to you, but I wanted to give you guys the option of getting repairs made if.
I think that I would say tabling item B is fair. Obviously, I think we need to move forward with item C.
Again, it's still within the insurance payout. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's no reason to, if that's the only person that you got back from, and then that is going to, the horizontal is gonna fulfill our needs and not be soffit, or, that'd be great. So we're
Then
gonna,
for item B, I just need a motion to table the approval of purchasing 4 replacement patio heaters.
Motion to approve, a motion to table purchase of 4 replacement patio heaters at a cost not to exceed $200 per heater.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And
Motion,
that's just something that we can come up and add that later on, like, down the road. I will also, sorry, I should have said this during further discussion, but I can also talk to the golf course beautification committee to see if that's something that they want to get involved with too.
all right, motion to approve repairs of patio railing by AJ&D Contracting at a cost of $1,610.22.
Second.
Give it to Barbie.
Right over it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to approve replacement cart shed siding by AJ&D Contracting at a cost of $35,801.
Second?
Any further discussion? I do have one question on this. This doesn't have to be like bid out, just super, like, all the things,
'Cause
like
that's
it's not.
Under 100,000.
Okay.
Doesn't meet the
I
bid.
couldn't remember what the breaking point
Doesn't
of
meet
that
the bid
was.
law requirements, no.
Okay. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Right.
Um,
I can say motion to table discussing patio furniture replacement until February?
we don't really have to have a timeline on it, right?
No timeline?
Yeah, just table it.
Just table, put it on the table.
Table the tables.
Can you table the tables?
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just note it out like
All in favor?
a chair at the table. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, end of year update for the property maintenance code enforcement, Dave.
So like I talked about at the beginning of the meeting, he had some family issues. He had a loss in the family and had some health issues himself. And then, so him and I didn't cross paths at the end of the year. But he was down at the end of October and did his end of the year drive through. So you can kind of see where we're at on, if you look at the most recent update, like on the top, that house is being completed. So by the time he comes back in the spring, that house should be in compliance. Next one down, he's been in talking to that property owner. The ones I wanted to point out, page 2, top of page 2, you'll notice that property there. He did send out a notice to abate the property. Obviously now with the snow on the ground, we're not going to be able to abate the property because it was junk, weeds, things like that. So that's something that we're going to have to follow up with him again in the spring and see, do we need to start the notices all over again, or where we're at with that, or if we can just go straight to the abatement, because I'm not 100% sure. The next one down is one that Sam is working on over in the mobile home court. And then kind of down at the bottom, yours copies are highlighted, aren't they?
Yep.
Okay, good. His suggestion, and again, we'll have to kind of wait until the spring when he comes back for his first, he had sent an abatement. Because we missed crossing paths, I was not aware of it until the end of the year, so. And on the next page, there is also 2 other properties. The second property that's highlighted, that one, the owner did stop in and chat with me, and that should be taken care of first thing in the spring, so. So there are some properties that are likely gonna be needing some work done in the spring. But I will talk to him once the ground thaws back out and get back on it and kind of hunker down on these, so. He continues to tell me overall of all the, I think it's 20, somewhere in the vicinity of 25 to 30 communities that he oversees. The communication and the follow-up and the actual work getting done. he said Alcester is one of the best that he's worked with in the past, so. Any questions on any of these properties? So,
Thank you. You wanna talk to us about the website and email updates?
yeah, and I sent you, hopefully you all had a chance to read through my slightly lengthy email. So earlier this year, Dakota State University, partnering with the state of South Dakota through what's called Secure SD. They had received funding through the state and federal government to do several things, basically kind of kicking the pants to the cybersecurity of all municipalities. So the first piece is improving the cybersecurity, because cybersecurity or the security threats are skyrocketing. I actually went to a cybersecurity class at Dakota State by this group, and they're going up anywhere from 20 to 45% monthly attacks from multiple different threat vectors. And they said they're not just targeting those high value target communities like you think of in South Dakota. You know, you'd think immediately maybe Rapid City or Pierre or Sioux Falls. It's just a blanket. They're throwing everything at every community they can get at. The biggest threat is if they were to get into our network, the vulnerabilities that we would have would be, you know, all of our fund accounting and all of our accounting processes, all of our customer databases, things like that. And the biggest thing they're seeing right now is ransom attacks. So they get a hold of your data, they lock it up, you can't get access to it until you pay a ransom. And so there's these big deals. So that's the big push for the improved cybersecurity. So part of this funding, they awarded contracts to several different IT vendors to come in, and they do a pre-evaluation. They come in and they try and do intrusion detection. Can they get into your network? Can they get into your, through your website? Can they get into your system, and what are the vulnerabilities? So then once they identify the vulnerabilities, they come in and they do an on-site assessment of what your equipment is, and then they make their recommendations. So the recommendations for the city of Alcester were installing firewalls here at the city, down at the sewer plant are the big two. So the IT vendor wrote up their proposal, submitted that to the state of South Dakota. The state of South Dakota said, yep, they're good to go. So they're going to cover the costs of installing firewalls, bringing all of the current threat detection software current, and keeping all that stuff active and get that all installed. So the biggest piece to that is getting in with this the Secure SD funding now. The minimum cost for just the hardware alone, not the personnel side, was a minimum of, it was like right around $10,000 for the firewalls and the software. So that helps save us that money up front. Then the second part is they're pushing, and eventually it's going to be mandated, but they're pushing all municipality entities to go to a .gov domain, whereas right now we're alcestersd.org. First benefit is a .gov domain is free. We won't have to continue to pay GoDaddy every year to keep the alcestersd.org. They do suggest keeping that for up to a year once you switch, just to make sure that the transition and getting everybody used to the .gov. The other thing is when a resident or somebody from out of town goes to that city website, they can go to that knowing, hey, it's been through a vetting process, and it's truly the representation of the city of Alcester. The second piece to that is moving the city email to a secure email system through government secure cloud email. Right now, if anybody's gone and tried to email the mayor or any of the council members, they're all at Gmail. If anybody's ever tried to email Lonnie, it's an Outlook. They've emailed myself, it's through our Alliance email. The deputy finance officer, the clubhouse managers are at Gmail. So we're kind of just spread out throughout everywhere. This would bring everybody, all 12, between the 5 city employees and the 7 elected positions, into at our domain. So it's going to be at elcester.sdcity.gov. So it'll be, mayor at elcester.sdcity.gov. So everybody would be on that same domain. It's secure. There's one citywide Microsoft Office license, whereas right now there's one for the clubhouse. There's one for the computer at the shop that he uses between the shop and the sewer plant. There's one for my computer. There's one for the deputy computer. And they're all, one's business, one's personal, and so this will give everybody access to the same government level software of Microsoft Office. Can share calendars, so things like that. So if Marvy's like, hey, I need to have a meeting with Lonnie because it's, we're due for his annual review, or Nick needs to meet with Kelsey and Carrie just to have that, annual meeting, just to kind of sit down and see how things are going. You can go in and check their calendar when they're working and, just kind of keep up on what's going on and stuff like that. So again, the nice piece with getting into this now is this would have cost the city anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 up front for us to do by ourselves. I got confirmation this afternoon that this email portion should be covered by state funds till 2028. Because it's an annual license, so we'll have at least a couple of years where we're not going to have to take on that cost. When you break it down amongst the 12 employees, it's relatively inexpensive per user to have that security. When I'm sending out the packets, we know that nobody's gonna be able to hack your email. How many people in here have gotten an email from
Lisa.
the mayor
I know, the
wanting to
mayor.
buy gift cards from somebody? It's happened a couple of times, and they spoof your email address. It's not that they're hacking the emails, but they're spoofing the email addresses. This just makes it a little bit harder. So just want to kind of give everybody an update on that.
Brian likes to respond to those, though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can tell you, the one guy.
That was.
So just kind of go through everything for the 5 employees is what it's worth. And when we set the emails up, so if it's mayor at elcester.sdcity.gov, we can set it up where it's Lisa, and that's the email address people see, but behind the scenes it's actually mayor. So the time comes that Lisa's no longer the mayor, the new alias address would be Nick, but it's going to the mayor email address. See how I did that?
Same Nick.
But behind the scenes, to make it easier so it's less change, we have the option of doing Ward 1A alderman, or Ward 1A at, Ward 1B at, Ward 2A and 2B and 3A and 3B. But what people are going to see and what they're going to click on in email is Kirsten at, I pronounce it wrong every time the first time.
He just got me.
Kirsten at elcester.sdcity.gov. Carrie at elcester.sdcity.gov. So what they see and what they email, they put in is going to, your first name or your first at last. We can do either. It's kind of up to what the preference is. For the employees, easiest, finance at Alcester SD City, utilities at Public Works, events, Clubhouse Grill. Those all just make sense. Those don't need the alias, they don't need to ever be changed. They can just be changed, the password can be changed when the employee changes. So
Would there be one for the golf course too, or would that just filter
that
into
would,
something else?
that would filter over to Lonnie.
Public Works Golf.
So. Any questions on any of that? once the state funding does run out for the upkeep and the licensing on an annual basis for the email and the Microsoft licensing, it'd be roughly right as of right now's dollars, it'd be $4,039.56 that we would have to absorb per year.
Doesn't sound
It breaks down to about $400 per user for the year for a license. And then for the Microsoft Defender for Office, which is the antivirus software, it's another $55 per person, so.
But we wouldn't have to pay for the individual Microsofts, and we wouldn't have to pay for GoDaddy,
Correct.
and we'd have
We
the extra
can-
security.
What does the GoDaddy cost right now?
Roughly 200 a year, I think. I don't know
Oh,
off
so
the
it's
top
not
of my head.
bad, but-
So,
Sorry, that's not
I don't
savings.
remember off the top of my
We
head.
might
That's-
as well just keep that at that point.
That's a guess at that,
For free.
that's a guess, but it unifies the email addresses for the city employees. It secures not only the employees' data, but the customers at large that we service, that we're here for. It helps make sure that all of their personal information is secure. So, because if they can get into our system, then can they in turn get into our third-party vendor utilities, which has banking information, so it closes that door on the ability for them to,
Or our Square account and things like that?
Yep.
and those are run off a different network, so those won't be as affected, and Square has their own
Firewalls.
firewalls and protections and coverages if something were to happen.
Does this require any action on our part?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
There's no dollars out through us at this point. It's all paid
That's
for
for
by the
tomorrow.
state.
That is for 2028, council to worry about. I love that for us.
All right, well, thank you for that information, and hopefully that continues to work out. Number 18, reminders, annual Christmas tree lighting this Friday, December 5th at 5 PM downtown.
Tree lighting is actually at 5:30, but everybody will be getting down there about 5.
Yeah, the street closes at
4:45.
5, well, yeah, 4 to 5. Tell them it's a fun time, it's like little Hallmark town, and it's supposed to be somewhat nice, so everybody show up.
I heard the big guy's making an appearance.
They have
Don't call
apple
me that.
cider, cookies, cocoa.
Horse-drawn carriage ride?
They are gonna put them up this week. Because of the short week last week, they couldn't get to it. But I did get assurance from Lonnie that the downtown the Christmas decor for the city will be up and running before Friday.
City office will be closed at noon on Wednesday, December 24th, and all day Thursday, December 25th, in observance of Christmas. City office is also going to be closed on Thursday, January 1st for New Year's. And all pet registrations are due no later than January 31st.
I forgot to put the open forum on there.
Oh, and the open forum was rescheduled
January 7th.
to January 7th. So Wednesday, at
6:30.
6:30?
6:30.
6:30,
Yeah,
January 7th.
7.
Yep. I thought we added it to our calendar, but here we go.
Clubhouse.
And that's at the clubhouse, yes. That's all I have for that. I don't think we need another executive session unless anybody else does.
No burning desires.
All right, then I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion, oh wait,
Yeah, I motion to adjourn, I wanna go home.
Second that.
Any further discussion?
no.
All in favor?
I.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 7:40 PM.